Just had my first little knock and rattle of the day on the first cast. That's the close-in rod, about 30 yards. The tide is still flooding, so even at 30 yards it's ever so slightly pulling up tide. I was going to put my other rod a little bit further out, give it a bit of a whack, so I might start with a grip lead just to see how we get on. And then as the tide eases, I shall adjust accordingly. So you may notice I'm still using my bait tray, just because I find it a really comfortable place to sort of stand and bait up, and I can watch my rods. However, the only bit of bait I have on my bait tray is one mackerel fillet. Everything else, the worms and everything, I brought my shed with me, is in the shade. All my frozen stuff is in the freezer bag with the freezer packs, etc, etc. 10 minutes, if that, probably not even that, of worms being out in this sort of sunlight, and they're going to be dead. So look after your bait. The reason why I put a mackerel fillet, however, on my bait tray, because I actually want it to dry out a little bit. So I'm leaving it skin side up. Oops, just flick that bit of mackerel across the beach. Never mind. So I'm leaving it skin side up, in the sun. Controversial move. I'm sure there's some quality anglers up and down the country going, oh my God, what a lunatic. But I actually wanted to dry out, because when I'm cutting it into really thin little strips, if I'm using a bit of, or doing a bit of pop-up fishing later, I want it to be a little bit tougher. So sort of soft mackerel straight out the freezer, out of the plastic, can sometimes be just a little bit too soft to cut up into little bits. So I actually want this to dry out and just toughen up a little bit. If it gets to a stage where it's, you know, starting to dry out too much, then I'll hide it again. But see what the tide's doing out there. That was a promising bite. Oh, let's go down the other side of my rod. A bit of knitting. This definitely feels breamy. Some good head shakes and little runs. There we go. First cast. There we go, first cast, beautiful black bream. That's on the rod at about sort of 60 yards on a bit of mackerel. Hadn't been out there for much more than about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, if that. Ooh, bit of that on there. Lovely thing. So there wasn't much tide out there, so I'm going to switch to a 5-ounce pyramid. I only use a 6-ounce grip if I really have to. Let's have a little quick look at the rig though, shall we, before I cast out again? It's a simple 2 up, 1 down flapper. I've got 2-foot snoods. I've got rag tipped with a little bit of mackerel, or just plain mackerel on a couple of the hooks actually. A little sort of pink pop-up snood. I've got some 033 Seaguar Harris. Is that a bite? My rod's gone slack. And then hook-wise, I've got a size 2 wormer. And that is that. Nice and simple. Oh, look at that. God, I didn't get a second rig baited up at the minute. Sure, there must be one on the right-hand rod, the close range rod as well. It's just slack as you like. Get a couple of these little baby squids out. Getting defrosting, don't need that many, that'll do. So actually that pyramid lead is holding beautifully out on that tide. So I've just got topper tide at the minute, so there isn't a lot of tidal flow. Hopefully I'll have maybe an hour of nice, easy fishing before the tide starts ebbing. We're not on a very big tide, so hopefully it won't rip round too much. I've got grips if it does, it's not a major problem. I just hope the one thing that ruins the shingle bank so much, which is the weed, I hope that's not too bad. There was certainly nothing on that first cast, which was nice. So even my further out rod, we are only talking about 60 yards with that one. There's no big casting going on here at the minute. I always do a cube of mackerel. I think I mentioned this before, haven't I? When I'm bream fishing. A little thin strip when I'm on my pop-ups, but for my mackerel, for my bream, sorry, it's a little cube. They're sort of a little pecky eater. So I don't want anything too long and sort of flowing, hanging off the back end of the hook. So I think they'll just pull it off. I don't like to give my fish too much of a second chance. So on this second rig, I've just gone on the bottom hook. I've got a Tronix Pro T34 hook in a size 2 again, so just ever so slightly larger. Although it's still a size 2, like the worm is a slightly larger hook. I'm going to put a sort of a head and guts of squid on this one. There we go, boing, 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 another bite. I'm going to bring up right-hand rodding because the line is hanging in the surf down there. I don't want it to get buried in the shingle. No, it's just a bit of weed, I think, dragging it round. That's a shame. That's a shame. Still a little bit of bait left. Okay, so not a lot on the close-in rod. So in that case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this one in, because this has been bouncing around nicely with the fish on. God, you know, it's been bouncing around, and I think I missed it. Oh, amateur hour. Every single hook stripped. Tiny little blob of bait on the top one. And no fish to show for it. Well, there we go. I'll edit that bit out of the video. So where am I and what am I doing? I'm at Milford Shingle Bank. A week after I did the wrasse and bream video at Hengistbury. That was last Wednesday. It is now this Wednesday. In fact, it's today. And I was just a little bit like, a little bit gutted. I only had sort of one half sensible bream last week and one little one. I wanted to catch a few more bream, so I thought I'll come to Milford. Good tides for it today. We've got good tides for it for the next sort of few days, actually. I know there's a few more bream coming out down here. It's a brilliant, brilliant bream spot in the summer. It's also a little bit like walking up to Hengistbury. It's one of those nice beaches that I can fish without getting plagued by a billion other beach users and stuff. So it's a good fishing beach. That big lump of land over there, that beautiful green rock is the Isle of Wight. We've got Hurst Castle just at the end of the shingle bank here. I'm about, how many casts will it take me to get back to the rocks? Probably about 7. No, I don't know, 500 yards or so up from the Cut Bridge rocks, just before the bend in the shingle bank there. And I'm doing some bream fishing. Out and out bream fishing today. It's all I want to catch. Hopefully I don't get pestered by any annoying things like hounds and rays. No, I'm joking. I'll happily take whatever. But no, I really want to catch a few bream. I've had bites every cast so far. The 60-yard rod seems to be doing the business, although I've landed one, missed one so far. That's poor. And I just had a decent bite on this and it's gone away again. So I'm doing well on missing bites. Sorry I'm a bit silhouette-y. That's a link to my previous video. But just the way kind of everything's set up, actually. You're just going to have to suffer the fact that you're looking into the sun and I'm not. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's funny, if there was a bit of tide running, although that was a nice sort of bite, bit of tide running, that tip would be absolutely hammering down. The fish use that tide to their advantage. They really good fun things to fish for bream, because they do give good bites. They're good little scrappy fish. They're relatively simple if you can find them, find where they are. Well, like all fish really, I suppose. If you can find where they are, they're not that difficult to catch. Oh, yes. There you go. They are smaller fish than I was expecting. Tiny little bream. Let's get it straight back. It's a hot and sunny day. Don't keep them out of the water. Right, let's have another quick look at the rig before we recast again. And what I want to look at now is the bait and the pop-up, okay? So I've got a sort of a centimetre cube bit of mackerel, inch and a smidgen of ragworm, and then this little pop-up here. I think it's a Yuki pop-up, little pink and glow Yuki pop-up. Now that pop-up isn't on the hook to lift my bait vertically off the bottom like if I was fishing for scad and mackerel and gars and things like that, because I know the weight of that bait, and also the slightly thicker line, a slightly bigger hook that I use for pop-up fishing. That pop-up isn't big enough or buoyant enough to lift it like that. What it's there for is to just let it sort of move around in the tide a little bit. It's going to add all that wonderful visual attraction. Bream are really visual feeders, so I think movement of bait is quite key. If a bait is just sat absolutely motionless on the bottom, you're going to catch a lot less fish than if it's just flopping around with the tide and getting lifted up and dropped back down and that sort of thing. That's a fish. I better stop talking and bait up. Oh, that's an enthusiastic fish. Then the last one was quite enthusiastic and turned out to be about an ounce. Oh, well, that's got it on there, hasn't it? God, I landed on the spot with that cast, guys. Although they have trashed my rig. One, two, three. Three little bream. Look at that. Like peas in a pod. Beautiful things. First triple shot of the day. Get them straight back before I drop them again. Oh, I am loving this. Absolutely loving this. Baking hot, summer's day, catching loads of bream. Excuse me if I grin like an idiot for the rest of the video. Just check I haven't got any parsley in my teeth first. What's the time? Time is 3:25. So we're just going to start kissing the ebb, I think. Kissing the ebb. What a stupid thing to say that was. Why would you? Anyway, just about to start the ebb tide, so I should start getting a decent bit of sort of pull down. God, those bream really trashed my rig. Now, obviously, being the super organised expert angler that I am, I've got a whole bunch of rigs ready to go, and I'm not just going to spend the next 20 minutes untangling this one. That's a nice bit of tide actually already. I should convert more of those bites into guaranteed fish. Guaranteed fish, never say guaranteed in fishing. What a silly thing to say. I'll probably get this untangled more if I stopped looking at my rod and actually concentrated on what I was doing. That's a beauty. Look at that. Just first cast back in close as well, so the tide's picked up. So I just blocked one 30 yards again. Again, hadn't been out there for much more than a couple of minutes. Second to the half size of a one of the day. Good sesh so far. Tiny one. Tiny baby. Another couple. Not sure what the tally is now, but 9, 8, 9, something like that, is it? Can't remember. Only little ones again. Thoroughly enjoyable. Beautiful double shot there. Much bigger than the last few. Very happy with those. They really are coming thick and fast now. Enjoying some amazing summer fishing. Two more. There's a little bit of weed running now as well, so every now and again I start reeling in and I can feel the fish and a lot of weight and I get all excited. Thinking there's a big one. Wow, definitely lost count now. Really don't know how many I've had. Not entirely sure if it's possible to enjoy fishing any more than I am right now. I can't keep up. I'm in the water for about 2 minutes. Ooh. That's a chunk. That's a nice one. Slightly bigger than the last few. Do the few bigger ones though. I really want to see if there's a 2-pounder out there, or a £1.5, something like that. So the tide has eased nicely. We had a little period. How long have I been here for? What's the time? 6 o'clock, so what am I in? 3.5 hours of pretty hectic, epic fishing. Enjoyed every single moment of it. But now the tide has eased, I'm tempted to sacrifice one of my rods and put out a larger bait, see if there's a hound or a ray or something around. I suspect it'll probably just get stripped and eaten by bream, but there we go. But also I'm running out of bait fast. I've got 1 mackerel fillet left and about 6 worms. So I think sacrificing one of the rods to larger fish baits could be the order of the day. And you never know. A bonus fish at the end of the session would be amazing, wouldn't it? That'd be the cream on the top. That wouldn't be the cream on top, it'd be the cherry on the top, that's the one. I suppose you could have cream on the top as well. A cream then cherry. Unless you're in Cornwall, then it's probably cherry then cream. Right, there we go. So I've got a 2-hook pompey loop, 2 O's on both. I've got a hole sort of small squid on the top, and then a whole hermit crab on the bottom. That looks beautiful. If I was a fish, I'd eat it. A bite straight away on the big rod. It's been in the water about 3 minutes. I'm going to try and convince myself that's not just a bream. It's not a bream, it's not a bream. It's not a bream. Come on, pull over and keep pulling. Pull some line off the drag. Well, just about to find out if a bream manages to swallow a 2-0 in a minute, aren't we? Really? It's not even a particularly big bream. That was the excitement over and done with it. Just goes to show how hard they pull. There was a fair whack out there. And that pulled the tip right round. Great fun little things. In terms of problems to have, too many bream? That's not the worst problem ever, is it? I can definitely think of worse. Oh, just filling my face full of chocolate cookie. And my bream rod was off again. Another little bream. What are we up to now, guys? Are you counting? Hope you were. Did I mention there was a prize to the guy who, or the person, sorry, who guesses the amount of bream? Oh. Oh, it's a fish. Oh, blimey. That's an energetic one. It's a double shot. There was me hoping it was going to be a slightly bigger fish. It is, in fact, only flavour there. 2 small fish. Never mind. It's 2 more. 2 more for the tally. I reckon I must be nearly 20 by now. Or was that my fisherman's exaggerating? 2 more. There's a bit of an ominous weather front coming through there. Oh, glorious blue sky and sunshine we've had. Let's hope that misses us. That's not my PB. Look at that. Black bream. Don't get many of them around here. Slightly better one again. Still no monsters tonight. I've only got maybe 1 or 2 casts worth of bait left, so I don't know if I'll get a big one, but boy have I enjoyed it. They're just beautiful things, aren't they? The epitome of summer. It's just an incredible session, it really is. I've just cast out, start baiting up a rig, and it's already going before I've even had a chance to bait this one up. It's been brilliant, it really has. I'm going to try and get this video out as quickly as I can, because this is the sort of the start of the decent tides for down here. So we'll have a few days worth of this fishing. There you go, let's bounce it around up there. If you're not local, are you local? And you're unsure on if it's a good tide to fish, then just ask us. Just pop in the shop, if I'm at the shop. Give us the day that you can fish and we'll look at the tide tables and that sort of thing. We'll try and get you on some fish. That is it. That is the last baited rig today. Because I've used all my mackerel. I've gone through 6 fillets of mackerel down here. Everything's been on the mackerel. I think I've had 1 fish on squid. 2 fish on squid. That's a mild lie, isn't it? I had that bream on the big fish rod, which has spectacularly failed. In fact, I'm going to bring that in and pack it down now, whilst that's chewing away. But yeah, mackerel. So bring mackerel. Do you know what, even if you can't get worm, just come down here with mackerel. You will catch fish. Wow, that might be the smallest of the day. On the penultimate cast. Let's hope my last cast produces something a little bit better than that, shall we? That's it then, last cast in the water. I'm knackered. Genuinely, for all the right reasons, pooped. Go home. I think I'll crack open a cold beer, start editing the video, probably fall asleep. Sunshine and bream. Thank you very much. Fish on the last cast. Of course. I wonder how long it would go on for if I had more bait and more time. There must be loads of fish here. That's it. That is the end of probably my favourite session of the summer. I think I'm going to be back down here in the next couple of days. I don't really know why I didn't take my stupid hat off. The sun went away about an hour ago. There we go then, only a little one. My last bream of a bonkers day. I thoroughly enjoyed it, I really have. Get yourselves down here, guys. Get yourself some mackerel, some simple flapper rigs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little video showing you the rig in a bit more detail, sort of back in the shop, so you can see it. Anybody coming in the shop, just ask us, we'll show you, always do. And it's just a bit of ragworm, little cube of mackerel, simple as that. I caught plenty on just mackerel as well, so don't worry if you can't get worm. Brilliant fishing.